Hey, welcome to the 22nd,999th day of my existence. It's the 24th of November in 2024. It's Sunday, so it's time for a sesh. And let me tell you a little story, first of all. Once upon 1973, about this time of year, my dad, who had been living in Buffalo, New York, came to Chicago for a visit. And this particular visit, my brother was sick, so he couldn't join us, but we went to go see my grandpa Jack. And we sat there for a couple of hours catching up with Jack, grandpa, and dad was telling him about how great things were going with the new job. He's making money hand over fist. He was finally going to buy some kind of new car, a sports car perhaps. And he went on a great trip with his latest girlfriend. Just, all these things. And the way my dad always was. Maybe it was true, maybe it wasn't. Maybe he was just trying to make his dad feel good about himself, or feel about him. But anyways, so the we left there. We went to get a bite to eat over at the Zweig's Deli and stuff like that. We dropped Grandpa off, and Dad wanted to stop over at the Flip Side, which was a record store in Chicagoland, very popular one at the time. And we spent probably over an hour there. He was going through all these different bins, picking out all these albums, mostly jazz albums, but I think a Rolling Stone album too. But anyways, we're standing in line, and I look over and I see on the end cap there at there was George Harrison's latest album, which was this album, Living in the Material World. And I knew the hit song off it, Give Me Love. Give me love, give me love. Peace on earth, give me light, give me life. Just a few weeks before my 12th birthday. And so I went over and pulled an album off the thing and went up to Dad. Hey, can I get this album? And he goes, you want that album? Well, sure. And he put it in the basket and then bought it for me for my birthday. And it became one of the most foundational albums of my life. I mean, that album helped make me the person that I am today. Excuse me. Aside from Give Me Love, the next tune that really struck me was the second song on the album, and it was called Sue Me, Sue You Blues. You get your lawyers and I'll get mine, and we'll get together and have a real good time, and in the end we just paid those lawyers their bills. And what really kind of like made an impression on me was the parallel between what George and the Beatles were all going through with the suing each other in this awful breakup was very reminiscent of what I had just witnessed with my parents going through their divorce, their lawyers, and in the end we just pay those lawyers their bills. The third song that really made an impression on me was the closing of side one of the disc, and it was Living in the Material World. And that song, man, again, he talks about the Beatles. He names John and Paul in it. He names Ringo in it. And it's got this driving, urging, chaotic, almost sounding music. And then, it gets to this bridge, and the bridge is all light and airy and spiritual. And he's talking about, his longing for the spiritual sky, for the spiritual side of life, but he's trapped in this material world. He was born into it, and it just, again, kind of resonated to me. I didn't choose the trappings that I was born into, but I've got to deal with them one way or the other. And that album at 12 years old made a profound impression on me.
I've heard how some people have said that I've changed, that I'm not.
So over the years, different versions. I remember, for example, I was in my 20s and going through some changes. I had kind of given up on the rock and roll dream. I think I told you last week. There was a song on that album called "The Light That Has Lighted the World," and it talks about the opening lines are, "I've heard how some people have said that I've changed, that I'm not what I was. How it really is a shame to me, because I was going through some changes." In my life, I was becoming a different person through the experiences that I was having, and some people didn't understand it. They couldn't get behind it. They thought I was doing the wrong thing. They tried to help me or save me or steer me in the right direction, but I was fated to go in the direction that I go, and that's the direction that got me to where I am here. And that song was sort of the mantra of that period of my life. I've heard how some people have said that I've changed. I'm not what I was, and so on. George Harrison, aside from being my favorite Beatle, is probably one of my favorite human beings, one of my favorite thinkers, one of my favorite seekers in all of history. But George for me was the first, and you know what they say about your first. But George was somehow more authentic in his music, in his lyrics. You know, John would write "All You Need Is Love" or "Imagine," but there was something for me that I just couldn't believe. "All You Need Is Love" felt kind of contrived and like a put on. And "Imagine," he didn't even write the lyrics; Yoko did, and it was sort of disingenuous for this multimillionaire, to talk about a world with no possessions and imagine. Well, sure, it's easy for him to imagine. He didn't have to go and do the daily grind, did he? You know, but George, in a song like "Give Me Love," just speaks from a personal point of give me love, give me love, give me peace on earth. It's like a prayer that he's singing, that it is something you truly feel. Give me love. It's one of my favorite Christmas time songs. And he was brave. He was courageous to put songs like, My Sweet Lord, or, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare in the background and stuff like that. For a pop star of his magnitude, for any magnitude, to do that on a hit record, and release it as a single takes fucking balls, man. I mean, that is a fucking kick in the teeth to the record industry. It's like you talk about punk rebel, man. Yeah, Lennon did too, but he was so angry about it. George was so fucking subtle and cool, man. Only a Northern Song was a song about it doesn't matter what we write because somebody else owns the fucking music. And he did that in 1967. Yeah. Oh. One of the reasons I'm talking about George on this Sunday sesh is next Friday, the 29th of November, marks the 23rd anniversary of George's passing. He died in 2001, throat cancer, complications, things like that. I'm digressing. That's why we're talking about George, because this Friday is the anniversary. And so I'm going to listen to a lot of George Harrison music during the week, and maybe you are too. If you're a George fan, why don't you leave a comment and tell me what your favorite George Harrison song is, or George Harrison album, or any other Beatle, or any not Beatle. I don't care. Leave a comment. This week is going to be a busy week. We've got Thanksgiving this week. We've got some stuff going on with your book about you, and I'm energized. I'm excited, and I'm getting really cold, man, because right now it's probably about 48 degrees, 50 degrees maybe. And I took off I had my robe on, but I took it off because I wanted to show off my new George Harrison Living in the Material World t-shirt. Dude, I love it. So that's what's going on with me. I hope you guys are going to have a good week. What are you doing this week? Do you got plans? Are you taking the week off because of the holiday? Do you have people coming in to see you? Are you going to see people? Or are you going to be kind of like us and just have a simple meal and do something reflective, do something personal? Or are you just going to get drunk and fuck it all? Well, I'll come back and talk to you on Thanksgiving. I'm going to pre-record that show because I'm not doing anything on Thanksgiving, and you'll have to tune in to see what I'm going to do or not do. And because it's what we always say around here, you guys take care of yourselves, take care of each other, take care of the people that you see on the street that need help. Do something kind this week. Take care of people. And be safe when you're doing that. Be safe when you're out shopping. Be safe if you're traveling. Be safe that you don't take too much tryptophan in the turkey or choke on a bone or something like that. And always, man, because Ken Babbs told me, and I'll always remember and love him for it, keep your dauber up. No matter what, keep your dauber up. All right, well, I'm D. Phillip. I'm freezing my ass off, so you guys have a great week. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.